What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Shomont. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell. Leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. What we're going to do today is we're going to check out this press conference interview with Shannon Dawson yesterday. I was messaged about it. I had not watched it yet. I was going to watch it today, but still haven't even watched this interview. I was told about some comments that he made, and I'm gonna do this thing live and in instant reaction for you, for which I have not seen this, so I'm hearing it as you're hearing it. If you've seen it already, great, but now you'll get to hear it with my commentary. I heard he made some comments about running the football, and from what I was told, that junk was crazy. And now I'm gonna watch this thing with y'all. So let's take a look at this. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Appreciate y'all's support. Everyone who jumped on board last night for Hurricanes Unfiltered, a weekly live at 9 p.m. Remember, every Monday night, Hurricanes Unfiltered weekly live. We do it live every Monday night, 9 p.m. We're on there for about an hour, hour and a half. So without further ado, let's check this out.
Good, 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 good.
Any questions for offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson?
Shannon, from the last drive of the first half through the end, 6 or 7, you guys score on them. The other one at the 20, you got a chance to just, what did you like from basically the end of the first half to the end of the game about what the offense was able to do?
I mean, we just settled down and started executing. I mean, it wasn't anything, at the beginning of the game, the first drive, we have a good drive going and we have a false start, puts us into a 3rd and long. And so games kind of go that way if you watch college football. Most games are close at halftime. I don't know how much college football that everybody watches, but I sit at the hotel and watch, and most games are close at halftime. Basically, they start at 0-0. Most games start 0-0. So there's a process of like the game takes a lot of different journeys, right? And most games are really close at halftime unless there's just a huge difference in the two opponents. Most conference games there isn't, so halftimes are typically 10-7, 14-10, somewhere around there. And then if one team starts, doing things a certain way better, then it kind of goes from there. The field position was huge. Second half, we played on a short field. That's when games get the way they did. When both teams are driving the whole field, typically the game's going to be like the first half. So I don't know if that answers your question, but.
What? What? Like I said, I'm watching this blindly and I'm reacting with you. Most games are close at halftime, he says. You're a 30-point favorite. You're a 30-point favorite. I don't even know what to say anymore. And you try to defend these guys, but holy shit. That's indefensible. You can't defend this. So Ohio State led Minnesota 21-3. Not very close. Ohio State led Wisconsin 17-0. Not very close. I can't. Indiana just beat UCLA 56-6. Is he out of his mind? That we all know they start 0-0. Indiana led 35-3 at halftime against UCLA. A UCLA team that had won 3 straight. Indiana led Michigan State 21-10 at halftime. Indiana led Illinois 35-10 at halftime. I mean, come on, bro. I know the game starts 0-0. We all know the game starts 0-0. You want to know why these games are close? Is because you're running 15-play drives. You run the ball. You move the ball methodically. You treat these motherfuckers like you're playing God. The second half, the short field, the offense didn't do shit largely. They were gift wrapped. That entire second half was gift wrapped by the defense. You got the ball once at the 3. You got the ball another time at the 45. You got the ball another time. Oh my goodness. At the 30, and you didn't score. You got the ball another time at the 40. This is the third quarter. You got the ball at the Stanford 40, Stanford 30, Stanford 3, Stanford 45. If it wasn't for the defense, this game would have been 21-7. Another possession at your own 45. Miami had 2 drives, one at the end of the first half and one in the beginning of the fourth quarter. It doesn't take 12 plays or 15 plays to score on Stanford. First drive, oh yeah, there's a penalty. Oh, we can't. God forbid there's a penalty. You can't move the ball anymore. Oh no, because I can't call my swing passes. Let's continue.
With SMU's defense, one kind of weird thing is that they're second to last in the nation in passing yards allowed per game, but also have 12 interceptions. I guess, what does that say about their defense?
I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, they've played some teams that throw the ball a lot. I think that's part of it. They've been in some shootouts. They've been up in some games. Like the Baylor game, they were up, so Baylor was kind of fighting to get back in the game, which that's going to lead to throwing the ball more, taking more chances, and all the rest. But I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, it's odd, but I do think the way that their games have unfolded, it's been kind of shootouts in a way, and other teams are trying to get back in the game. And when you try to get back in the game, it's going to be, you're going to have to throw it to try to score.
And then I was looking at
Wow, again, another God. This guy is off the wall. SMU's defense sucks. Dare I say it? SMU's defense isn't good. They've been scored on like nobody's business. They weren't last week, but their defense sucks. They're giving up 400 yards a game, 300 yards in the air. Their defense sucks. And that Baylor game, Baylor won.
The breakdown of running directions over the last couple of years, and this year you guys are running up between the tackles a little bit more than you have in the last couple seasons. I guess I asked Mario the same question, but I guess what kind of goes into the decision making on the running strategy, I guess?
I mean, nothing. I mean, we try to put together a plan to attack the defense. When you say running up the middle, you do understand that when you're in the shotgun and even when you hand outside zone, it's going to be a B gap run or A gap run like 90-something% of the time with every team across the nation. We do understand that, right? And so the amount of times the ball gets outside the tackle when you're a shotgun team everywhere in the nation is not very high. Or do we understand that? We do. Okay, so with that being the way it is, we probably ran outside zone half the time Saturday. But where does the ball go? it probably goes B gap or A gap. Why? Well, the ball's getting handed here. The O-line's here. So the fact that it has to go all the way around the tackle on outside zone, it's probably not going to happen unless the defense gets out of gap, which they did a couple times. And so I'm 100% good with the ball hitting the A-B gap. I mean, it's just, I don't understand the infatuation of, how do you want me to get the ball outside with the running back?
Are you serious? How? I wish I had been at this press conference. How? I don't know. You have other formations besides running shotgun all game. There are other formations. I know the retardation of football has now made everyone a shotgun team, whether or not they have the actual weapons to be that. I despise today's offenses. Play action passes have disappeared from college football and the NFL because of these shotgun offenses. Play action pass almost always worked. Almost always worked. How? That's your job. You're making how much money? That's your job to figure out. But I'll give you a little bit of an education since you're asking the media member. I don't know, a toss? A toss. Right there, the ball's already outside the tackles. I don't know, a drag, a sweep. Have a guy come across, I don't know, have your running back go in motion and come back around and grab a sweep and go around. I mean, I don't know. Louisville did it against us. They're a shotgun offense. Isaac Brown wasn't running in the A gap. Most of his stuff was wide. There are other formations besides running shotgun offense. And the fact of the matter is, I hate the shotgun offense. It actually limits you. It limits what you can do in every facet of football. Because, yes, logic says the ball's being handed off, you're running straight up the middle. Guess what? When they're playing 8-man fronts, you can't run straight up the middle. So you need to adjust what you're running. But once again, there are plays that can be run to go outside the tackles, to stretch the field wide. Why is everybody else able to stretch the field wide except for Miami? I'm flabbergasted by this shit. The more Shannon Dawson talks, the more I'm wondering if he belongs here. The more I'm wondering if this is right for him. I know he doesn't want to admit it publicly that the game plan is basically being told to him and this is what he has to run. I mean, because I can't imagine as an offensive coordinator you're sitting here saying, well, you know, in the shotgun, you can only run between the A and the B gap. What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? You're not coaching high school, bro. You could have down blockers pulling guard, pulling tackle, or pulling center or whatever, and run right outside of them. It's your job to figure it out. Yes, they're going to try to contain you. It's your job. Your job. It's not complicated. There are other running plays available.
It's a question to you. How do you mean do it?
Talking about the offense.
You mean run option?
Maybe.
Okay, I'll run option with Carson. That's smart. Genius.
Toss sweep.
You can run a toss sweep from underneath. Yeah, we'll go underneath.
How does that impact the defense?
What is he talking about with Carson? No one's talking about running the triple option there. No one's talking about running the triple option or the option. Toss sweep. I don't know. How about you get underneath the center? How about you run some shit underneath the center? We don't have the weapons to run shotgun, if you haven't noticed by now. Or we don't know because our wide receivers largely don't play. We got two guys that play, and the rest of them get some spot duty here and there. We have tight ends that can't catch the fucking football or can't block because neither of them can do both. And y'all spent an entire spring and fall, summer, did not figure out who your tight end was going to be. Elijah Lofton is supposed to be somebody, but the boy can't block. The boy, I'm not going to call him a boy. He's a grown man. The man can't block, from what I'm told by multiple people. Can't block. So if he can't block, guess what? Then you got to bring in Alex Bauman, who can't catch and is very slow. It's crazy that we don't have a tight end. Crazy. Because a tight end would make this offense under center really good. You don't need to run 4 wide. Or guess what? If you're going to run shotgun, run 4 wide and let them all be wide receivers, not tight ends. Run shit across the middle of the field. You don't. There are ways to make it work, but he's playing this fucking, I don't even know what he's playing. He's playing this dumb country boy type shit right here. Because this is like that, oh, I'm a goo goo goo.
So, you know, what you're saying obviously makes total sense, but
Does it?
it does.
Okay.
But you've got a gap here.
I get asked that question a lot, but I don't think it makes total sense, to be
I
honest with
get
you.
asked nothing
Okay.
more than
Yes.
this. But like when you have A gap and B gap, how does that impact a defense trying to defend that?
You still got to stretch. So it's where's the A gap go? So I would look at it, if people really want to find the answer and really ask questions, it's where does the A gap go? So if you're running outside zone, the A gap might start where you're at, but it might end up where you're at.
It slides.
Does that make sense? Because you're blocking, if you run outside zone, then the O-line's moving to the right. And so, yeah, the ball starts right here and the guard starts right here, but the ball might end up where you are. But it's still in the A gap or still in the B gap. Does that make sense? And so, but it's moved 6 or 7 yards that way. And so to me, I don't obsess about that nearly as much as y'all do or our fans do. I don't.
We obsess because we can't run the football, Shannon. We're obsessing about it because we can't run the football. Back-to-back games, we couldn't run the football. The first half against Stanford, we couldn't run the football. Against a team that gives up 425 yards a game, we couldn't run the football. We're playing another team that gives up 400 yards a game. Can we run the football? No one's sitting here talking about when your shit is stretching out 6 yards to the right or 6 yards to the left. We're talking about the shit where you hand the ball and the guy runs right up the middle. And we all know that's what's happening. We all see it. We all see it. We all see Mark Fletcher or Marty Brown or whoever running the ball up the middle and then bouncing, maybe having to bounce off tackles and make a play because the 5 linemen are blocking 8 guys and you're not stretching them. You're not stretching. You're just 7 yards to the right. The A gap is 7 yards. Get the fuck out of here. Show me video film of the A gap being 7 yards to the right. Seriously. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this Stanford game just to figure it out. See how many times the A gap was 7 yards to the right. But on top of that, it's not what we're talking about. And you know what we're talking about. He's trying to play games with the media members who don't know enough about actual X's and O's in football because they never played football. I mean, I largely know who these people are. These people have never played football. Not to be offensive, but if you haven't actually played football in pads, not at the park, in pads, if you've not played football in pads at least a high school level, if you've not played in the offensive line on top of that, which I did in high school, come on, man. You don't really understand, and they don't know enough to go back at him, really go back at him, because I would have challenged his ass left and right. 7 yards to the right or left is the A gap. Come on, bro. We're not talking about that. How about this? How about this one? This is just a thought. How about you can tell me if this is crazy. How about you have your tight end go in motion, right? Comes across the formation and then goes back. And while he's going back, you snap the ball and you hand it off and you follow the tight end around the edge. Just follow the tight end around the edge. If your linemen are blocking, they can block head up. If they're blocking, you follow the guy around the edge. Where's the A gap? It's right in front of you still. That's just a thought. It's literally what they ran when they ran it to Malachi Tony. When they ran the ball with Malachi Tony at the end of the first half, I think it was, comes across the formation, goes fakes that way, comes back around, and hands the ball, runs right around the edge. Why is that not possible with our running backs? Why don't you put Jordan Lyle in the game to do that?
Because ultimately, I understand that, like, when you hand the ball off from the shotgun, most of the time it's going to end up in the A or B gap. It don't matter what run scheme you run. We ran pin and pull 6 times Saturday. It could get outside, but how many times did it? It didn't, because it became a big gap run, because defenses most of the time are going to set the edge to the defense unless they mess up. They messed up a couple times and it spit outside and we got a game. You know, most times it's going to hit in the A or B gap. It doesn't matter what the run game scheme is. You know, counter is going to hit outside sometimes when they wrong shoulder it and the linebacker doesn't fit right. Is that an inside run or an outside run? I'm asking you.
Probably in the added holder.
Well, counter is an inside run,
Right.
but it ends up outside sometimes when the defense misfits it. You know what I mean? And so it has everything to do with how the defense.
All I'm hearing him right now is him saying the defense dictates what he does. All I'm hearing right now is that the defense dictates what Shannon Dawson calls. All I'm hearing is that the defense is dictating what we're doing. You're a top 10 team in the country. You were ranked number 2 in the nation a week ago. 2 weeks ago. And you're sitting here telling me that you're allowing Louisville's defense, Stanford's defense, even Florida State's defense to dictate what you're doing. Because you have no other counter punch to their punch. You don't know what to do against their punch. The defense, unless they mess up. That's literally football. Most teams mess up. And when you're the better team, typically you mess up less. Y'all tell me if I'm crazy. Y'all leave a comment. Am I crazy? This man is like literally giving an excuse for why he can't do something, why he can't call something that works. We are all watching the same football game, man. We're all watching us run the ball right down the middle. Nothing popping out. It only pops out when the running back gets bounced, and it's all up the middle. It's not 6 yards to the right or 6 yards. Come on, man. Again, go back to under center. Get yourself a fullback. I know that's a horrible concept in today's football. A fullback, a lead blocker. You're a running team. If you're a running team, why are you lined up in the shotgun the whole fucking game? Line Carson Beck under center, get a lead fullback, and run the ball the way running teams run the ball. And based on how dumb these defenses are today, guess what? It would work. There's a reason Georgia Tech is 8-0, because half of these teams are halfway retarded and don't know how to stop anything. If you had Nebraska in 1995 with Tommy Frazier and Lawrence Phillips playing right now, they would win the national championship, because these teams are too dumb and don't know how to stop a triple option. They have no clue, which is crazy, because in the 80s and 90s, no one could stop the triple option except for teams like Miami and Florida State, because we had the speed to stop it. We have the discipline and the speed to stop it. And the athletes. Georgia Tech's 8-0. Last year they put up, what, 41 points on Georgia? Bro, it's crazy what's happened in college football, seriously. And I'm not saying run the triple option. By no means. I'm saying that if Nebraska was here right now with Tommy Frazier and Lawrence Phillips, they would run that shit down people's throats. They'd be running for 400 yards a game. Because these defenses suck.
Fits it. Does that make sense? And so you can run outside zone 15 times, which we probably ran it 10 or so times in the game Saturday. It hit outside one time.
Then you're failing. You ran it 10 or 15 times and it ran outside one time, then you're failing. Then your team is not doing its jobs. Then your offensive linemen are not doing their jobs. So maybe you shouldn't be running shotgun with these offensive linemen. Maybe because they're a little slow and just really big, maybe you should get your ass under center. I don't know. Just a thought. What do y'all think in the comments?
It hit in the B gap most times. It hit in the A gap a handful of times. You know, like duo, you can run duo 10 times. It's probably going to hit in the A gap 6 of those times. It's probably going to spit to the B gap or backside B gap a handful of times. And there's going to be a couple of times where it falls off the table because they misfit it.
So what this man is basically saying once again is that the plays that he calls and where they're supposed to go, they don't go. The plays he calls and where they're supposed to go, they don't go. Why? Why do your plays that you call not go where they're written up and drafted out? I remember when I was in high school, we had our playbook. We had exactly where that ball was supposed to go. We had exactly where it was supposed to go. I understand some plays will break down and they'll go somewhere else. I get it. Cutbacks, all that stuff. I get it. Our running backs don't cut back. We don't have cutback. Well, I mean, at least the ones that play. I mean, Mark Fletcher's not a cutback running back. He's a bulldog. Run your ass over. He's a huge guy. He's not a cutback running back. He's not a speed back. Your play calls don't go where you call them. Okay, good to know. Good to know. That means your linemen are not doing their jobs, or the backs aren't doing their jobs, or everyone's not doing their job. So I guess, I don't know. Maybe you're not coaching them well enough. Maybe you're not practicing enough. Maybe you're not going over this shit enough. I don't know. I don't know.
You know what I mean? So where the ball hits, you know, I can't, the defense dictates that a lot by how they fit. And we use a lot of things to spit the ball on the edge, which creates edges to defenses, right? To me, that's our stretch game, is getting the ball in the flats, which we do approximately 8 to 10 times a game. And so the question about the ball hitting up the middle, I mean, they can keep asking it and y'all can keep asking it, but I'm not going to change what we're doing, because what we're doing is how we want to play football and how really everybody does, you know? And so it's not much different than that, unless you're a quarterback run game team and you run power read or you run option, which we don't run that. I don't run those plays because our quarterbacks are pocket guys, they're throwers. We choose to play offense a different way. Now, if we switched our whole scheme to that, then we could run all those things that you see some people run that have quarterback run game people, but we're not that person.
Lord have mercy. Oh God. The defense dictates. He keeps saying the defense dictates what we get. I've never heard an offensive coordinator say that shit before. I've never heard an offensive coordinator say the defense dictates what we get. Have y'all? Not a good one. The defense is dictating what we do. Oh my God. That's insane. That's insane. The defense is dictating what he does. I'm flabbergasted by this commentary. I hope you are too, because I've given this guy a lot of leeway with the stuff that's going on. This is how we play football. So how you play football is run the ball into the backs of 340-pound linemen. That's how you run. That's how you play football. So if it doesn't work over and over and over again, you're going to keep doing it over and over and over again. You're going to make no adjustments consistently. I mean, you just said that the defense dictates it. So why don't you make an adjustment as to what you do specifically on certain run plays? Why is that every play that, I mean, forget the run plays. You run swing passes, wide receiver screens like no one's business. Our offense is fucking vanilla, man. Our offense is boring. It's bland. If you want to have 15 play drives against Stanford, yes, you're going to have closer games because you're not moving the ball. You're letting them again dictate what you do. A team that gives them over 300 yards passing per game, and you threw for 189. For 189, a team that gives them over 300 yards passing per game, and Carson Beck threw for 189 yards because your game plan is so dumbed down to a level that a high school QB could execute it. Yet you have a guy who's 30-4 and now being called a bum by so many people in the public because of the way you've dumbed this offense down to make him look like a bum when he's not a bum. I feel bad for Carson Beck that he has to run this elementary school offense. This is not a complicated scheme that they're running. They're running basic shit. And he can word salad this shit away. This is words. This is a word salad sandwich right now. Oh, they stretched it this. Bro, come on. You're supposed to do things against a defense to make them mess up. Why did you run flea flicker against Florida State? Because I know why you ran it. Because the fucking FSU DBs are their leading tacklers. And they were looking in the box the entire game. And the second that they got, was it Mark Fletcher, whoever got the ball, they were in the box. Their eyes are all looking at upfield. He pitches it back, and Malachi Tony's wide the hell open. That's what coordinators are supposed to do. Use this shit against them. You dictated that. They didn't dictate that to you.
Does personnel on the offensive line dictate scheme? You know, obviously if
A lot.
if linemen
No doubt.
can move or can't move, will
Yeah,
determine how.
we're big up front. And so we move people up front. And so the majority of what we do is inside zone run game, right? Some type of inside zone run game. Now, we do run outside zone, probably half the time. It just depends on the game and depends on the structure of the other team's defense. I'm not just going to run plays and take negative plays either, right? It has to be fit within the game plan and the scheme. But yeah, our identity is we're big, physical, strong people. And so I would say that I was very pleased with the way we ran the ball Saturday. Can we run it better? Absolutely, But I thought Stanford's defense did a good job of keeping everything in front and really not giving up a lot of explosive plays. Even when the ball got out, they were layered well. They got the ball down, so they made us move the ball methodically through the field.
Tony Johnson.
What? Stanford's defense? You're happy with how you ran the ball. You ran the ball for 100 and you ran the ball for 199 yards. Okay. Of that 199, 106 was Mark Fletcher. Beyond that, 13 was Malachi Tony. Jordan Lott had 24 yards. So you ran the ball with your running backs, your 1 and 2 running backs, or your top 3 backs, 27, 32 times, 33, for 139 yards. 32 times for 139 yards. Let's do the math of that. 4.34375 yards per carry. You were happy with that? With that massive line that pushes people around? You were happy with that? I'm not talking about Malachi Tony's run. I'm not talking about the guys who played at the end. I'm talking about the main guys. You were happy with that run performance. I mean, hey, I guess there are things that make him happy that I don't find to be that great. Stanford's defense stinks, and you made them look good for a half. Your first half running game was terrible. Miami got stopped on 4th and 1. 4th and 1. should have kicked the field goal, but we got stopped at 4th and 1, and you ran that same fuck shit. Hand the ball to the back and just go right up the middle. And what did Stanford have? They had a whole bunch of guys in the middle. Didn't work.
Emerged on Saturday night. What does he bring to the offense for you?
Great kid, just energy and playmaking ability. You saw it from the first play. And he's a guy that's weathered, a couple games of not getting a lot of reps. And I just thought it was important to get him on the field. I mean, he's been doing great at practice. I have all the trust in the world with the kid to do the right thing, to block. I mean, he's an exceptional player, and I just felt like he needed to be on the field.
For Jordan Lyle, obviously, we know how much you've been battling to try to get on the field. For him to get a touchdown last game,
Yeah,
what
great.
did that do for him?
Awesome. And that's what he is. And he can make a guy miss in the hole. And it was in the B gap or C. It might have been in the C gap. There you go. It was a little wider run, so you can tell everybody that one was a little bit wider. But he did make a guy.
It's literally what we've been talking about. Put that guy out there to have him run wide. We've literally been talking. That's what we've been talking about for weeks. But he God.
Miss and went and scored, which he has the ability to do that. He's an awesome player, and he's finally hitting his groove. Feel good.
And with Carson, obviously, I know you said you weren't worried about him bouncing back, but what did you like about what he did last week?
I thought he played a really good, efficient game. His completion percentage was really high. Didn't put the ball in jeopardy. We had 0 turnovers, which is awesome. Our defense gave us a short field a handful of times, which is great. Special teams did the same. But I thought, he made some really, really good throws. He kept drives going. He kept the drive going with his feet, which I think is huge. We need more of that. And he managed the game really, really well. There was things that.
No, the fuck, we don't need more of Carson Beck getting first downs running the football himself. No, we don't need more of that. Are you crazy? You need more of Carson Beck scrambling? Am I nuts? If Carson Beck is scrambling for first downs, you know what that means? Our line is either not blocking or our wide receivers can't get open, or both. No, we don't want to see more of that. I don't ever want to see that. But if it has to be done, it has to be done. But I don't want to see more of that.
Go unseen to the naked eye of him changing plays and changing points and changing protections that matter, that keep drives going, that take you out of negative plays. Sometimes repoint the run game, which pushes it, it widens the edge a little bit, which I think everybody's very happy to see. And so, but he does a good job of managing the game. He really does. And he was always in control. And I thought he played really, really well.
Not just this Stanford game, but the whole season. Are you pleased with the explosiveness of the offense? Do you feel like there's more meat on the bone?
I think there's more meat on the bone. At times we show it, With that being said, though, it has a lot to do with what they do. It's no different. I'm not trying to but it has a lot to do with the defense does. It's no different in the run game. Everybody can get infatuated with where the run game goes, but a lot of it has to do with how they fit. We're running outside zone, but hey, if they're going to set the edge and it's going to be a 3 technique there, the ball is probably going to bend back to the A gap. It's just the way it is. Now, if there's an A gap player in the open B gap, it's probably going to be B gap. And if the defensive end doesn't do his job, it's probably going to be a C gap play, right? It's no different than the pass game. Defenses now, over the past 2 or 3 years, have kept the ball in front across the nation more. They've just made a concerted effort to have what we call a shelf to the defense. And so there's certain defenses you go into the game with and you kind of know. I knew going into that game that we probably wasn't going to have a lot of down the field throws. Just by the nature of how they play defense, they're going to keep the ball in front of them. And they switched their coverages up so much where you couldn't catch them in quarters and get a post or something. Because I don't know if you remember the catch that Tony made across the middle in the red zone. Well, in that set, typically they play quarters. So I was thinking that we could get the post on that set, but what did they do? They played single high. So they got good coaches too, and they game plan and they see that there's certain situations that they're probably going to take the middle of the field away, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with throwing it underneath and spitting it out to the flats, but we do have plays designed to go down the field in every game. And the fact is that sometimes it doesn't go down the field because of what the defense does. And so, no different than a couple games ago, you could argue that, the ball shouldn't have went down the field. Even though it did, it probably should have went to the flat. And so that's our job and Carson's job at quarterback to see that flow of the defense in the back end and spit it down. But it has a lot to do with what they do to be just direct.
What challenges does
I ain't got nothing left for this guy. Like, seriously. He lets the defense dictate how he plays. I've watched teams. How is it that in a prevent defense that you can throw the ball down the field? I've watched teams throw the ball over the top in prevent defenses. And yet you're sitting here telling me that you can't throw the ball. I mean, you can't throw down the field. You can't. Oh, they're protecting the middle. They're doing this. So literally the only throw that you can make as a coach is a swing pass or a wide receiver screen. Because that's literally what we've run most games, almost all the time. It just gets to the point where it's like, so the only throws that are available are swing passes. Okay, I got you.
SMU defense present?
I think their D-line's really good. That both edge guys can rush the passer. They get some width. They play hard. The interior guys are heavy-handed, thick. They move. They twist. They don't just stay put. Linebackers have played a lot. People have thrown for a number of yards on them, but I think that's probably because they get tired of running it and getting nothing. You know what I mean? And
No, their defense sucks. That's why. Their defense sucks. That's why. So you better throw for 300 on these guys.
so they get you in third down, and they do a good job of rushing the quarterback. One thing that sticks out to them is they're really good on third and short. We're really efficient in short yardage. I mean, we've been 100% most games. This game we didn't get one, and we run it up the middle and get it too. That's odd, isn't it? But they're really good on third and short. Oddly good on third and short. So we have to do a good job on third and short to keep drives going.
Similar, just red zone matchup. You guys are good red zone touchdown team.
Yeah.
They're a good defensive red zone touchdown.
They are. They.
Goes into that.
I think that's the one thing that sticks out to me about their defense. They don't give a lot of points. They might give up some yards, which yards really don't matter. I mean, points are what matters. So, and they'll give up some yards, but they don't give up a lot of points. And so I do
Yeah, tell Baylor that. Baylor had 48 points in them. Okay.
think that when we get down there, and we've been good through the course of the season, I think that's one stat that we're really good at is red zone touchdowns. Now, we could be elite at it if we clean up some stuff, obviously. Maybe run it outside a couple of times. It'd probably be really good. But ultimately, getting down there when the field gets short, being big and physical up front helps. And I do think that you see down there, because some of the runs that Mark made and scored, right? And they were up the middle, hate to admit, but it was like a 9 or 10 yard gain, which is amazing that you can run it up the middle and get a 10-yard gain, right? But one of the reasons that the box was weak because of, they have to respect those guys out there. So we create a little bit of space with just the threat of, like, you saw CJ catch the fade ball. Like, we haven't thrown a lot of them this year, but we've completed most of the ones we've thrown. And so I do think those guys are really good out there at making plays when things get tight. And I think we create some space in the middle because of that.
Great, thank you, Coach Dawson.
Appreciate it.
So as you heard, Shannon Dawson gave his speech and was very condescending, very back and forth at the media. He was taking shots at the media members that were there, basically making fun of them. He was making fun of them. Like, there's no other way to call it. He was making fun of them, and they sat there and ate it. Not criticizing people. I understand if you haven't played football, there are things that you don't know to ask, even if you've watched tons of football. But there were ways to come back at his ass because he was being a condescending ass at points. He was doing with that Southern charm, but that was some condescending shit right there. Well, does that make sense? That he does that. Does that make sense? A whole lot. Like, people are all morons. And fact of the matter is, He just told us more than one time that he lets the defense dictate what he runs on offense. What do y'all think about that? The defense dictates what he runs on offense. The defense dictates what he runs on offense. I mean, he said it over and over and over and over again. I don't want to go out there and say this guy ain't right for this job, but man, he the more he speaks, the more I think he ain't right for this job. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts. Y'all leave y'all thoughts in the comments. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Once again, this is Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.